Cash secured put. What is a cash secured put? It implies that you want to open a trade where you sell a put. If you're going to do that, the broker wants to know that you can cover the expense for what that put represents. The idea behind it is that, calls and puts are a contract, they're an agreement. So when you sell a put, you're agreeing to buy the stock at the strike price you sell if the buyer exercises their right. It's called putting the stock to you, right? So suppose, for an example, I sell this 100 strike put, and the person who buys it from me decides that they want to exercise their right as the buyer, and they put the stock on me. Now I have to choose to buy that stock, and that's what the broker wants to know you can do, that you can actually buy it, that you have the capital in your account for that purchase. So it's like, you know, uh, whenever you sell an option to open the trade, you have to have that covered. We don't always have to use cash. We can do, like a calendar spread. We can do a diagonal. We can even do a vertical. And that way we have a long and a short at the same time. And those two will cancel each other out when it comes to the coverage, right? Because if I buy a put, well, remember what I was just saying, that the buyer has rights and we can put the stock on somebody. If I sell a put and I buy a put, somebody could put the stock on me, but that I could turn around and put the stock on somebody else. And that way I was never obligated to buy the 100 shares. I made somebody else obligated to buy those 100 shares. So we can cover options, whether they're calls or puts, in a trade. But when we talk about a cash secured put, we're not talking about doing a vertical, calendar, or diagonal. We're talking about having an account large enough to cover the amount of shares that the contract is obligating us for. So in this case, selling a put at the 100 strike says that I have enough capital in my account to buy 100 shares at $100 each and pay the commissions, and if there's any assignment fees or anything like that, that I can cover those expenses too. If I can do that, then they'll let me sell this put as a cash secured put. Now, one thing that I like about this is when I do this trade, how much money we get in credit. We can use that credit to lower the cost of our average share price. So, for an example, if we go over to SPY, which is a really good one when you're thinking about selling cash secured puts, because eventually you get the stock and then you sell calls and you eventually get rid of the stock, and it's just a really good wheel program. So we'll come over to SPY and we'll look at the idea of selling puts here. But let's go a little farther out in time. 65 days, we got April 17, and we're going to go a little farther out of the money just to start the conversation. Well, you know what? Let's not. Let's look at, we're at 603. What if we sell a 600 strike put? I want to try to get as much money as I can for this. So we would work the order, and suppose we get this for $11, right? We get $11 in credit and we sell this put. If the worst comes to worst and I get assigned, I get to keep all that credit. So my average share price would be $589. Because if we take 589 plus 11, we reach the $600. So as long as SPY is still above 589, then I've got this stock that I could immediately sell and make a profit on. Maybe not a lot of profit depending on, where the stock price is at, but I could immediately also begin selling calls against it. So if my average share price is 589, and then I turn around and I sell a call at the money, think about where we would be. We'll just say we were at 590, right? Because that's where we had to be below that. So If I sell a call now because I have 100 shares and I'm thinking about selling calls to eventually lose the shares, then I could try to sell those calls and get another 10, 12, $14 in credit. And if I don't get assigned on that, I can do it again. If I don't get assigned on that, I can do it again. And every one of those credits that I sell to open, it just continues to lower that average share price if you want to see it that way. I know a lot of people don't. They'll just say, well, I made this much credit, and they never deduct that from their average share price. But I always like doing that so I can keep track of what my true, real average share price is. If you do it the other way and you don't monitor the share price, then you can just monitor, how much profit have I made from selling puts or calls, doing the wheel strategy. So cash secured put is the idea that we want to A, sell a put, and that B, we're not going to cover that short put with a long put. We're not going to do a vertical or a calendar or a diagonal, a butterfly, iron condor. We're not doing any of those things. We're just going to secure that put with the capital in our account. And that if we can't afford to buy the stock at the put price we're selling, then we can't sell that put using the cash secured method. We'd have to come up with something else. So that's what I got for you guys. If you ever have questions on this, please come into the Discord, ask us questions. We'd be more than happy to help. And I'll see you at the next video.